Hello everyone, hope you all be fine and doing well. Welcome to the third round of FIDE World Chess Championship 2024. In this game, we have Gukesh D, Indian Grandmaster with white pieces against Liren, current FIDE chess champion from China with black pieces. They are playing this game around 2 hours plus increments. So watch it till to end and enjoy from this amazing game. In this game, Gukesh Indian Grandmaster starts the game by pushing the pawn into d4. And then Liren responded by taking his knight into f6. Gukesh bring his knight into f3. And now Ding pushed his pawn into d5. After Deng pushed his pawn into d5, now Gukesh has two best options to play against this move. The first one is taking out his bishop and playing the London system. And the second one is pushing the pawn into c4 and playing the Queen's Gambit. So in here, Gukesh decided to push the pawn into c4 and playing the Queen's Gambit against Deng Liren. Deng Liren has this option to capture the pawn to go for Queen's Gambit accepted variation, or he can simply push the pawn into e3 and playing the Queen's Gambit declined variation. So definitely in this position, Deng decided to push the pawn into e6 and he is preparing to play against Gukesh the Queen's Gambit declined. So in this position, Gukesh decided to capture the pawn by his pawn, and now Deng captured again by his pawn. This is a normal position for both players. Now Gukesh activated his knight by taking it out into c3. Deng pushed his pawn into c6 and activating his bishop to come out in the center. In this position, Gukesh analyzed the position, and before any moving of Deng, he took out his queen into c2. Now Gukesh can control this square by his queen, so Deng cannot bring his bishop. Deng decided to push the pawn into g6 and Gukesh pushed the pawn into h3. This looks a little bit simple. For example, if Deng decides to bring his bishop into f5, now Gukesh has this option to bring his queen into b3 and attacking to the weak pawn of Deng. So as per expectation, Deng brought his bishop into f5 and Gukesh moved his queen into b3 and attacking to the weak pawn of the Deng. And here, Deng defended his pawn by taking his queen into b6. Gukesh goes for g4, attacking the bishop. Deng decided to capture the queen. Gukesh captured it by his pawn. Deng brought his bishop into c2, attacking to the weak pawn. So in this position, Gukesh goes for bishop into f4 and attacking the knight also has an eye on the weak pawn. This is one idea, and another idea is that if in this position Ding decides to capture the pawn, so now Gukesh can simply take his knight into d2 and attacking to this bishop. In this position, the bishop is somehow trapped. For example, if Deng brought his bishop into c2, now Gukesh can attack to this bishop by taking his rook into c1. So there is only one square remained for Deng, and that is definitely e4. Now by pushing the pawn into f3, the bishop is trapped. So therefore, it is not a good move for Deng. Capturing the pawn is not a good idea for Deng, and Deng analyzed all these lines with himself. So therefore, Deng pushed the pawn into h5. Gukesh goes for rook g1. Then capture the pawn and Gukesh again capture the pawn. After Gukesh captured the pawn by his pawn in this position, then Liren almost thought for 34 minutes and he found the best move, and that was activating his another knight by taking it into d7. And Gukesh now took back his knight into d2 and defended from his weak pawn. So in this position, Ding played the best move, and that was taking his rook into g8. What a brilliant move. Could you see, my dear friends, if Gukesh tries to trap the bishop, so he could have counter attack by pushing the pawn into g5. So in this position, Gukesh pushed the pawn into g5 and attacking to the knight. Then goes for knight into h5 and attacking to the bishop. Gukesh took back his bishop into h2. Then goes for rook into h8 and have an eye on undefended bishop into h2. Gukesh pushed the pawn into f3. In his next move, he is going to attack in the center by pushing the pawn into e4. Ding took back his knight into g7 and attacking the bishop by his rook. And Gukesh goes bishop into g3. Now Ding brought his rook into h5 and attacking to the pawn. Till to this position, both players played well. When Deng Liren brought his rook into h5, he made a mistake, and Gukesh used from his mistake and didn't give him any chance, any opportunity to compensate his mistake. So from this move onward, the game is completely amazing, and see that how Gukesh won the game after this move. In this position, Gukesh played pawn to e4. And the point is that if Ding captures the pawn, so definitely Gukesh bring his rook into c1 and the bishop is hanging. So there is nowhere for bishop to go. So in here, Ding capture the pawn by his pawn and Gukesh recapture it by his pawn. Ding bring his knight into e6 and attacking to this weak pawn in the center. In this position, Gukesh brought his rook into c1 and attacking to this bishop. So there is nowhere to go for bishop. So in here, Ding captured the pawn and protected his bishop. Gukesh found the best move and took back his bishop into f2 and attacking to this knight. So if the knights move, so the bishop is hanging. So Ding decides to bring his bishop into g7 and defend it from his knight. For example, in this position, if Gukesh captures the knight, so definitely he would capture it by his bishop. Now, if Gukesh captures the bishop, so his rook is hanging. So therefore, it is not a good move. So what Gukesh played, let me show you. So in this position, Gukesh played one of his best move in this game, and that was taking back his knight into e2 and attacking to the knight. Ding cannot capture the knight because Gukesh could capture it by his bishop, and here attacking the rook, and also the bishop is hanging. So Ding would easily lose one of his pieces. So in this position, Ding calculated with himself. So therefore, he captured the pawn and attacked to the rook. Here, Gukesh captures the bishop, Ding captures the knight, and Gukesh captures it back by his king. It is a difficult moment for Deng Liren because he is one piece down. How he can play against Gukesh? In this position, Deng brought his knight into e5 and looking for check and attacking to the rook. Gukesh responded by taking his knight into d4 and control the check square. Deng played rook to d8 and pinned the knight. Gukesh brought his king into e2. Rook h2 played by Deng. Gukesh played bishop to g2. a6 played by Deng. In this position, Gukesh played pawn to b3 just for controlling the c4 square in the future. Ding played rook to d7. Gukesh goes to rook c1. King e7 played by Ding. Rook d1 played by Gukesh. Ding played king to e8. As Ding is down in time, so therefore he doesn't have that much time to think more. So therefore he is moving a little bit fast. Bishop g3 played by Gukesh, attacking to the rook and knight. Rook to h5 played by Ding. Gukesh played knight into f3. Ding captures the knight, and Gukesh captured it back by his king. Ding cannot capture the rook because Gukesh will easily capture the rook. If Ding tries to capture the pawn so easily, Gukesh will have this fantastic move, attacking to the rook and threatening to checkmate by his rook by the help of his bishop. So in this position, Deng analyzed, so therefore he brought his bishop into d4 and attacking to the rook. And here Gukesh played h2 rook 1. Deng captures the pawn. In this position, Gukesh is very calm and he knows that he is winning the game. So he has lots of time. So therefore, he is bringing his bishop into h3 and attacking to the rook. Ding pushed the pawn into f5. Gukesh played bishop into f4 and attacking to the rook. And this is the last move for Ding Liren. And he is taking his rook into h5 and his time is over. So he is losing the game by his time run out. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for watching this fantastic game. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.